Psychological has to think about the things and work things backwards, where psychophysical beings just take the things straight from the soul and put it in, manifest it into energy. Basically, the way you dance, the way you see the musical tone in our note, it's all a psychophysical action, not a psychological action. And another thing about psychology is basically the word psychopath. So in relation to the word psychopath, you've got pathos, which means disease, suffering, or torture. So psychopath means a spirit that is in torture, is suffering, or is diseased. So it's a diseased soul. The word psychopath is diseased soul. So if diseased soul now keeps itself in check by what? Laws and customs. So if you have a tortured soul or a suffering soul, you have to keep yourself in check by laws and custom. Also, the word pathology, once again, in one way means disease. It's the foundation of all disease. But in the other word, pathology, in sympathy, empathy means feeling. So this is the key element in the problem, in the flaw of using psychology to look at the soul, because basically feeling, now this is the key element now, feeling is classed as a disease to a soul in torture. So if you have a lack, if you have an imbalance, if you're not fully melanated, if you don't come from a place of abundance, you know, feeling to you is classed as scarcity, torture, and trauma, and you need laws and habits to keep that trauma in check. So basically now this shows that once again, the word psychology is a Western term, and it by definition of the word, it means a soul in torture, a soul in torment that needs laws and customs to keep it in check. Now we come from another hemisphere where we have feelings, which means that you're in tune with nature, you're balanced with nature, you're in rhythm with nature. So when this is the key element now, when we express motion, because we're in harmony, we're in tune, we're in balance, it puts the frightener up of someone's whose emotion is based on trauma. So this is why when you're in a conversation and you start waving your hands in the air, the emotion that you're putting out signifies trauma, because they need rules and regulations to keep themselves in check. And this is why now they want to try and calm you down, because they see it as something that you're in trauma or you're agitated, when you're in tune with nature. So there's an opposite effect here, where a science of logic who have a physiological makeup is trying to apply that science to someone who is psychophysical, and this is the problem when they try to analyze our mental health
Blessed
state.
Radio, the time is 7:00 p.m.
You're listening to Bless. This is George. Looks like keep it locked.
So once again, you're tuned to Bless Radio, live across the vicinity, going out to all the community. And once again,
TV again, everybody, it's your host with the most. Today this one is a bit laid back and a bit more reflective and educational, as well as conversational. So that means I will come here have a conversation today. So fill up the comment section with your experiences as far as this topic goes. What I'm going to talk about today is, may I beat the topic here a little bit more, right? This topic is about mental illness, more so within the black community, but specifically in Jamaica, because Jamaica my thing zero in pan. The thing about this thing is, though, when I do topics like these, we have people who come on pan Soulflow TV from Jamaica, and it further shows our mental illnesses. We have people that come on Soulflow TV and them say stuff like, hey boy, you can't come back to Jamaica, you know, man, slam gunshot in the head, you know, boy, stop make Jamaica look bad, you know, you have been warned. So, when I highlight stories like 2 men hacked to death in St. James, which, by the way, doing this video right now, I'm looking right here at Loop News. Big up to Loop and the whole team over there. They all do a fantastic job. Very reliable source of information. Looking at Loop, I see it. The headline just trending. It's only happened an hour and change ago it came in. 1 hour and 46 minutes ago it came in. 2 men hacked to death in St. James, right? So, me read the story, and the story says something about the man that a group of people in the community then standing around, you know me I say, you know how we do in a Jamaica, the Trinidad call it liming. We in a Jamaica just call it what we say, we are breeze out for the ends, right? Could you imagine you sitting there with your brethren and your neighbor them? You know we're doing a Jamaica man, we turn up out a gate and we chat like a bit or we go around a back if a backyard and fence meet fence and we did it and you know we trade conversation and thing and beg it to them orange there for a tree, you know, and so tell me what I go on with so and so and have those kind of conversations. Regular, by the way, if you live in America or many of these foreign countries, you don't have that. That's one of the things that us Jamaicans miss so much. Because your neighbors can live right next door to you for many years and you might not even get a hi. But I couldn't talk about that. Let's talk more about, well, you're going to get a hi if they want something from you. But let's talk more about this topic we come to talk about today. Mental illness in Jamaica, specifically in the black community worldwide, but more so in Jamaica, right? So, people sending these types of threats. Like, I'm not the one that's making these things happen in Jamaica. That's the first thing that any intelligent mind would understand, right? I am not the one that's making, and you sending threats to me for highlighting the things that are going on because I use these things to draw a parallel to what the hell it is I am saying to you. Don't fault me for that. Look into yourself and figure out why this continues to happen. Remember, remember when I did the video with Brains and the Beat and we had talked about mental illness in Jamaica called the man that they run down a couple people. Them said the first one him run after was a young youth and the youth looked like he's a track star called the youth young and frisky and take off and him never get fit. And next one, a lady, she not too old, she chuck over one wall and it missed her. Him run down a girl now, it's like the girl never expect it or never think him did serious or couldn't run fast enough, chop her up. I saw the video where he was standing in the road with the machete over the girl body and him there have conversation with people with him bloody machete like, yeah man, and dog saw an area and police are pass like them afraid for corral the man, right? So the mental illness thing in our community, why does it continue to happen? And one of the biggest things I place the blame on is religion. Yeah, a lot of people are going to say, so Flow TV, I want atheists, you know, him not believe in a God, you know, and all these other things. So let's break this down in a couple of topics. One, does religion help or hurt when it comes to mental illness in the black community? Here's my answer to that. Remember, this is my personal opinion. You can't flog me for my personal opinion. As long as you're not disrespectful in delivering your personal opinion here on Soulfloor TV, it is more than welcome. This is how we dialogue, okay? I don't expect everybody to say the same things I am saying. The question is religion helping or hurting? Alright, let me tell you something. I find religion to be very oppressive. There is some good in it, but it's oppressive. Here is the good in it, and here is why it's oppressive. The good that I find in religion is this. If a person is lost, completely lost in the world, religion can be a guide to guide you into some life of morality then. That means that if you're out there and you're not care, you know what I say, you're a woman and your drawers drop to every man, you're a man and you want to jump on every woman, and you live loose, and you fill up your body with alcohol and drugs, and you consume all these things, and you live in dirty with no conscious mind frame, mindset, no conscious behavior. You just a go so. Then religion can be the thing to actually slow you down, make you get rid of all these damaging behaviors, and actually focus on God. So in that sense, yeah, religion is good. But religion is oppressive in the sense that it forces people to look outside of themselves for help. I'm going to say it again. It is damaging in the sense that it forces people to look outside of themselves for help. And I'm going to explain that look outside of yourself for help thing in a minute. Stick up in and let's get into this other question first. Do I, Soulflow TV, believe in God? Yes, I believe in a God. But here is my thing about that believing in God thing, right? God, to me, is not the God that there is to you, for instance. And I don't believe that any man should tell another man who God is. You have to go find God for yourself, right? Which brings us in a circle right back to this religion thing. Now, me saying that religion is oppressive in the sense that it forces one to look outside of themselves and to depend upon it forces you to depend on all outside sources. Think about it. Especially say Christianity then. You're forced to like pray to some God that's in the sky somewhere or is unseen and floats around all the time. And is supposed to be there when you need him. But yet still me never see a people. So
Right, there's an excerpt there in relation to mental health and relation to religion, and the host was asking the question of, is religion destructive to the mind? Okay, so I'm going to put a little take on it, and then I believe we've got some esteemed caller, Brother Dougie, or as I said, what I was talking about earlier in relation to the mind is the word psychology. It relates to the topic discussed, so this is key element, because once again their study created in Germany of the mind is called psychology. But if you look at what mind means, it comes from the word psych. So basically psychology is a study of the soul. That is, if you check out the word psychology, Google the word psychology, you see logy means the science or study of, like in sociology, biology, and psychology comes from psychic, it comes from the soul, the mind. So this is key now in relation to the religion, because if you understand that psychology is the Western science study of the soul, and then if you go into the word psychopath, you'll see that path relates to a diseased soul. So by having a science, a study of the soul that called psychology, and part of that science is psychopath, is basically showing that the science of the soul that they are studying is a diseased soul, is a tortured soul. So once again, in relation to religion's going to come into this in a second. The study of the soul in Western society is called psychology. Logy means the study of the psyche, the soul. So psychology is the study of the mind, the soul, and the spirit. Part of the analysis of psychology is psychopath. Path is a medical term, means disease, soul. So basically the study of a diseased soul is based in the science of psychology. Right. Also the word pathos relates to feeling. So this is the key element now, is basically the science of psychology, which is their study of the soul, is based on a tortured soul, a soul in torture, that has to be kept in check by rules and customs. Customs is another word for moral. So a tortured soul that has to be kept in check by rules and customs. So once again, the study of the soul, called psychology, relates to the fact of a tortured soul that has to be kept in check by rules and culture. So what I'm just saying by this is they're declaring the fact that there is a tortured soul that has to be killed. This is where religion comes into it, because we come from a balanced soul that works with nature. They're declaring a tortured soul that has to be kept in check by rules and custom. So basically now, if your aspect of the soul comes from that perimeter, if you class yourself as having a tortured soul, then your interpretation of wisdom will be based on your lack or your perceived lack of what you have. This is where the word born into sin comes from, because if you feel that you are a tortured soul, that you need to look outside of yourself to have some compensation or to alleviate your torture. So the whole of the Western Hemisphere, in indulging in the science of psychology, which is study of the soul, believe that they're coming from the aspect of a soul in torture, where if by the effect of having a lack, in relation to even the way nature, even being in a scarce environment, having a lack in their psychological makeup, they've reinterpreted the religion in a way that they see best to help themselves, like for salvation, for pleading from something outside of themselves to alleviate the problem of being in torture. So this is what's happened, is basically our ancient wisdom has been reconfigured in relation to another person who believes that their soul is in torture. So this is where you can see in relation to the wisdom, how it's been twisted. So they're doing what they feel right for them, but it is not right for us. I'll show you one aspect at that all the religion actually as well. Another thing, the person is in denial of the original source of the religion. I'll show you, for instance, the word God translates to the Father. If you look at the Lord Prayer, you'll see the word Our Father in heaven. The prayer to God starts with the word Lord Prayer. Starts in the Lord's Prayer, Our Father. Father is also evident in who the Pope calls himself, is the Father, and the priest will call himself Father. In Latin, the word father comes from the word pater. Pater is father, or papa. Papa. Papa is the word for father. Also in England, the word for father is paternal. So paternal also means father. So this is where the link comes to ancient Kemet, because the father of creation, or the creation, was known as Ptah. So Ptah was the Holy Father, and the keys in the sound. But then if you look into Rome, their father was Jew Ptah. So you've got Ptah, comes from ancient Kemet. It goes down to Jew Ptah. Then it goes down to paternal, and it means father. So basically the concept of a Holy Father comes from ancient Kemet. So if you're not following ancient Kemet, the true wisdom, then you're following a distorted version of the wisdom that doesn't relate to you. It relates to a tortured soul that's trying to get themselves out of their torture.
So then they hope that, okay, I am meant to suffer in this lifetime because my glory is in heaven, or my glory is after this lifetime. If God loved you so much, why would he give you this lifetime of suffering? I don't get that. I don't get that. So religion is oppressive in the sense that it forces you to look outside of yourself. Here is my thing, and I'm going to tie this story in to religion, what it has to do with mental illness, how it's preventing us from getting to the source of the issue, right? Religion and mental illness for me is very personal. Let me tell you why. Alright, so I went away on a long ass deployment, right? This time I think I was in Iraq for 16 months on this deployment. And when I came home, my little brother was going through some things. See, talking to my SoFlo TV audience is therapeutic because I get to let some of this stuff out, right? So when I came home, my little brother was going through some things, and me and him today I talk, and he totally changed, and I saw all the signs there, because in the army, in the US Army, they actually teach you to recognize all the signs of suicidal tendencies and clinical depression. I saw all the signs in my little brother, but because I was back home now, as a matter of fact, I actually saved a soldier while overseas and deployed from committing suicide, because I was the one that caught him when he was about to do it. Right? And I followed him for a couple of days because he showed those signs, and caught him at the last moment. Came home and couldn't catch my brother at the last moment, even though I saw all the signs there. What I was doing with my little brother, as far as my little brother is concerned, is I was actually doing what I was taught to do. Because here I was, back at my mom's house. I was on vacation, so I was staying at my mom's house. And My brother was there. And my brother.
Yes. Come back to Bless Radio. And it's quite interesting just listen to what's been played there. And just to tie things in, that the question is, does religion tribute to our mental health? And as the brother said, we're not talking about religion, you know. It's how people use religion for their own personal gain and their purpose and their personal power. You know, let's put everything on the table now. You know, let's put the bones, the shopping on the table now. And let's be clear that the people use religion for their personal gain. That's what it comes down to. And the sign of madness is that, let me show you some madness. The brother said that his brother was going through some challenges, mental health challenges. See? And what the mother said, that, you know, you must pray. But the son said, Mom, I am praying. But you must pray more harder. You know? And if the prayer is not working, you need to look at a logical step or a practical step to deal with that situation there. It's like a man get licked on, right? Or got run down, right? Get knocked down out on the street. And we're going to say that he's in pain, get licked down. We're going to pray over him. Yeah, praying plays his part. But, you know, you would take him straight to the hospital. See? I mean, if praying was so powerful, right? Why is it that those in hospital right now who are suffering from cancer, diabetes, you know, why you don't go in there and pray and you know, the prayer was so powerful. Praying plays its part. No, I'm not denying against the praying thing. See? So we don't want to be spooked out here, because we are intelligent people. Just that we've been hoodwinked by some individuals for their own personal gain to mislead the people. See? And the thing is this, that if we make an observation, just look around, how religion has manipulated people. Where the pastors, yes, the pastors, the bishops, you know, the priests, how they manipulate people, how they abuse young boys physically, mentally, spiritually, sexually abuse them. I'm not making this thing up. This has been said, you know what I mean? In fact, it's a well-known bishop, well-known, can't remember the name off my head, Eddie, I think it's Eddie Long, one of them man there, right? Was accused of abusing some young boys them, right? And then we could talk about how they make a collection of money and have them private jet and big horse and this and that. Again, I'm not saying that they're not supposed to make money. But when you're making money, you see the rest of your congregation out the door, to me that's a crime. That is a crime. So we're not here to judge anybody and throw stones at anybody. We're just trying to put everything on the table. Right? And there will be a brother be phoning in to be talking about a feature film, documentary feature film where it's put together. It's very powerful. I saw of it. Very powerful. So this, again, it's not attack on religion. It's nothing to do with religion. It's attack on these people them. You know? How will you like if you know, say, your son, your daughter has been abused by the bishop and the pastor, and nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. In fact, the people who in the Congress, right, are not saying that, not doing nothing about it. And the truth of the matter is that they're not accountable to nobody. See? So, we're not trying to judge it because, people's humans too, but if you that way inclined, you best if you just come out and just find yourself somewhere. So, because people find you, you really truly, it should be chopped off if you're doing all them kind of abusive thing to, See? And what John was talking about, I was breaking down to us that it's how we've been conditioned and how we've been brainwashed. Not just the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, over hundreds of years. See? Because we had our own way of life, our own way of culture, our own religion. Right? In fact, one of the things I would say that religion and culture is a way of life. Some might disagree with me upon that, right? But this is what I believe right now. I might change my mind 10, 15 years, but religion and culture is a way of life. In fact, I would say religion comes out of culture, and probably culture comes out of religion. It's a marriage. You can't divorce the two of them. See? So, serious stuff. Serious stuff. And again, mental health is a very serious thing. And Jam was touching it and talk about it and talk about the original words and the doctor. Was the doctor you talked about, Jammers, earlier on? You talked about.
No, I was just talking about where the word their study of soul is called psychology.
The psychology,
which is based in Germany. And it's talking about soul in torture. So basically, see, this is a key element because religion is not designed for our use. This is what we have to understand. It's designed for their use because they see themselves as a tortured soul. So they've taken our wisdom and trying to use that wisdom to try to cure themselves, not you. That's why if you look at, they say they're born into sin. But when you use the Lord's Prayer, you're saying, my Father. So if you're like your Father and your Father is a divine being, how can you be born into sin if your Father's created you?
So, because what it is well, was well, be quite clear that, we had our own way of life, own culture, own religion. Whether I don't know if we use the word religion in those times there. I never had any reference of people use the word religion, right? But again, if I'm proven wrong, if I'm misrepresenting information, I do stand to be corrected. See, but the key to all of this is that we need to turn everything on his head now, turn it upside down. See, because we've been misled and we've been fed a lie over and over again. Over and over again. See, so what we're saying to people here is that do your research, and that's what it's about. Turn everything on his head upside down, turn it apart, but you must do your research. You must do your research. Because we've been fed a lie. See, that is the key to all this. And if you look at religion is all about beliefs. Yeah. And what's in the middle of the word belief? In the middle of the word belief, there's a word called what? Lie. So there's a clue there already. See? You know? And beliefs are stand on what? On legs. You know, if you observe a table or a chair, you know, the foundation of table and the chair is the legs them. But when you start wobbling those beliefs, those legs them, and that's what people stand on.
Because you wouldn't eat something if you didn't know the cook or the chef, you know. You wouldn't wear somebody else's shoes, you know. You wouldn't buy a car and it hasn't got no MOT, you don't know the history of the car. Yeah. So how can you go into somebody else's practice and you don't know who the practitioners are? So this is a key element in relation to going into a practice and you don't know who the practitioners are. Also, as Brother Dougie said, this is a recent interpretation of ancient wisdom. The word religion is not an ancient word. It means to tie back, to tie down. And as I said once again, the basic interpretation of the words, the word Catholic is not an ancient word. It's not an ancient word that we use in any form of ancient wisdom. Holic means when you're addicted to something. Alcoholic, shopaholic, addicted to shopping. Alcoholic, addicted to alcohol. Chocoholic, addicted to chocolate. So caffaholic means addiction. Holic means to be addicted. Once again, alcoholic, addicted to alcohol. Shopaholic, addicted to shopping. Chocoholic, addicted to chocolate. So caffholic means addicted to cat. Now what is the word cat? Cat is a Greek word. The original word was not a C, it was a K. So cat was spelled K-A-T. The original formation of the word cat is a Greek word. It's K-A-T. Cat in Greek means down. Once again, cat in Greek, K-A-T, means down. I'll say it one more time. Cat, K-A-T, means down. So when you put cat and holic together, it means to be addicted to being down. That is the basis of the word caffaholic. It's to make you addicted to being down. So if you will want, now you have to ask yourself a question. If you're saying our Father in heaven, and your Father is going to be bringing you salvation, you know, and you're created by the Father, first question is, how can you be born into sin? Because that is one of the biggest statements of Christianity, that you're born into sin. So if you're created by a divine being, one, how can you be born into sin? And two, why would your creator want you to have an addiction to being down?
Absolutely. Okay then. So we're going to have a very short break. I'm going to play some Les Brown. You know, we have to play Les Brown all the time. You know, one of the top motivational speakers out there with other motivationals. Anthony Robbins, the Zig Ziglar, you know, and there's interviews like Umar Johnson, Muta Baruka. We can go on. Sister M.A., not M.A., now, I'll come pronounce her name now. Sister from America. When I remember her name, I'm going to bring that to you. There's so many of them out there. You know, Queen of Four, there's so many. Okay then.
Look at your dreams. Detoxify your life. Look at yourself. Look at your dreams. Detoxify your life. I think that most people never achieve their true goals in life because they're surrounded with too many toxic, negative, energy-draining people. You've got to look at the people in your life and ask yourself the question, what is this relationship doing to me? How is it impacting my life? Am I a better person? Sidney Poitier wrote a book called The Measure of a Man. And it's powerful, but I encourage you to get the tapes. I love his voice, and he said something. He said, when you go for a walk with someone, something happens unconsciously. It's not spoken. Either you adjust to their pace, or they adjust to your pace. Whose pace have you adjusted to? Ask yourself. You've got to look at the people in your life and ask yourself the question, what is this relationship doing to me? How is it impacting my life? Am I a better person? My daughter, Ona Brown, who's a speaker and coach, she says, call forth your team, but make sure these are people that you can learn from. I'll never forget, I'm on a special board with Bishop T.D. Jakes, and we went into a board meeting. He looked at everybody before opening the meeting. He said, as soon as I know as much as you do, you're fired. And with that, the meeting is now open. Everybody continue to learn on that board. A friend of mine, Dennis Kimbrough, motivational speaker out of Atlanta, he said, if you're the smartest one in your group, you need to get a new group. So as you look at yourself and look into the future, call forth your team. You've got to look at the people in your life and ask yourself the question, what is this relationship doing to me? How is it impacting my life? Look at yourself. Look at your dreams. Detoxify your life. Look at your dreams. Detoxify your life. You have to watch who's speaking into you. You've got to begin to monitor your mind. And you've got to begin to literally be proactive in programming yourself to success. Be ye not conformed to this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You've got to take responsibility to make that happen. And as you begin to do that, you'll begin to see some incredible changes. I understand now when Earl Nightingale said, all of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. As you begin to look at your dreams and look at your goals, write this down. Make know your vitamin. See, most people stop short of their dreams and park and get off the highway of life because of the rejections of life. You will always be rejected. It's no big deal. Jack Canfield said rejection is a myth. It's not like when somebody says no and then they slap you. Rejection is a myth. Make know your vitamin. Get excited about the no. Why? Because every time someone says no, that brings you another step to a yes. You're getting closer. Trust me, you will win if you don't quit. Don't quit. You will win if you don't quit. Even a broke clock is right twice a day. Don't quit. The other thing is, as you look at yourself and look at your goals and look at your dreams, assess yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you bring to the table? When I looked at becoming a motivational speaker, I looked at all the speakers and I noticed that they were pretty much scripted. So I said, what is it that can make me stand out? I don't have any college education. I don't have any credentials. I never worked for a major corporation. What is it I can do to offset my weaknesses? And then something said, well, Les, and this is very important, Mr. Washington, Mr. Brown, yes, sir, what do you want to do with your life? I want to become successful. Good. He said, you must be willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. That's why you said you have something special. See, very few people go to seminars and workshops. They'll go to a concert, but showing up to get something that can expand their minds and help them to begin to see their lives differently, to give them a larger vision of themselves, they'll be too busy, or they say, well, how much does it cost? Well, information costs, but it pays for itself. today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. George Frazier says your network determines your net worth. Who do you allow to be in your ear? What kind of relationships are you developing? Are they an asset to you or they are a liability? Do they elevate your spirits or do they tear you down? We get two types of people, nourishing people and toxic people. Nourishing people, they bring the best out of you. They encourage you, they inspire you, they hold you accountable.
Greetings.
Toxic people, they are critical people.
Greetings.
Telling you what you
Hello, how are you? This is Matt.
Yes, Matt. How you been, my brother?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, Matt, first I want to salute you because when I saw the trailer and I really was taken back by the seriousness, because even though we had a conversation, and sometimes I have to salute you, my brother, because even though you talk to people, you don't know what kind of level of seriousness they're on. You know what I mean? And then when
Absolutely.
and when we was talking, I said this brother's on a serious level, right? But when I saw the trailer now, that bring it home to me, and I tell you why I bring it home, because it takes a brave man like you to bring this message out there, and this something was needed, and we need to have a discussion in the community among the madness, and I use the word madness because it is madness, and what it comes down to, and I want everybody to listen to what I've got to say here, that there's no accountability. You have pastors, ministers, bishop, literally, there wasn't a criminals or out there anywhere, right? Getting away with, I would say, even worse than a murder. Cause if you murder somebody, you get caught, you'll be locked up, right? Right? If you rape somebody, right, and be caught, you get locked up. These people are doing things and they're using it what? In the name of God and the name of religion, right? So, my brother, we have to salute you all the way, and I'm going to tell as many people to be at this event here. Next week, Wednesday, see. But first, it'd be wise to have a little background about you, so people know a little bit about you and why you made this documentary here. And also in the house, we do have Jammers, and it's really Jammers show, who's also with us. And they probably might ask some questions as well. But I want if you just give a little background about yourself. Yeah.
Okay, not a problem. Well, first off, my name is Matt Hardiman, and I am a movie producer from America, from Atlanta, actually, from ATL, and basically, I am indeed a native of Atlanta, but there have I grew up in this particular environment, and where this particular pastor was basically sexually, he was sexually, verbally, physically abusing so many of his own young parishioners. But he basically used his position of authority to basically prey on those who couldn't defend themselves.
Right.
And so you talking, I mean, even physically, being one who was physically abused by this man as well. And so many, I mean, there were so many young people that were sexually abused by this pastor. And so when this type of madness continues to happen, and so many people, they know about things like this, and maybe some don't, but those that do, they somehow give these pastors, bishops, preachers, or whatever a pass. And when it comes to abuse, what kind of pass does anybody get?
Right.
And so you talking, I mean, even one of my daughters, you talking, my 7-year-old daughter was molested in this church. And by this child molester who molested about 10 to 15 babies.
Seriously.
From the ages of about 2 months old up to about around the ages of 7 or 8, and that's both male and females. And so because of the pastor being a child molester himself, he actually justified the child molester. And I hope I'm getting ready to say something. I hope my words, I hope they're not anyway, his words were this child molester here seems to have a thing for little girls' pussies. And so let me give him one of the ladies in this church so that he could experience some adult pussy. And that was his answer for this child molester. I wanted to kill that guy.
Well, his head should be chopped right off, man. I mean, I'm speaking to you now, and you know, to be honest with you, tears are really coming to me, because that could be my baby, anybody's baby out there, and oh God.
Man, I'm telling you, man, I that's something that, you know, that's a feeling, man, that you don't, you know, to ever be abused in any kind of way,
yes,
whether it's physically or sexually or verbally, any kind of way, man, it's so damaging, man.
Damaging, yeah.
It's so damaging. And you talking about, man, when I'm talking about, I didn't even want to live anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to live anymore. All I knew to do is to go as far as I can and have these people prosecuted. And that's what bothers me. It's like people, man, I'm talking about, it's like you can't sit on the sideline with stuff like this, man.
No, you can't.
It's too damaging.
It's too damaging.
And a lot of people are being wounded, being hurt right now, man. And some of these crooked so-called pastors and bishops, apostles, doctors of divinity. No, you don't. They're using their platforms to hurt people, and I'm not talking about all. I'm not talking about all of them. There are some who are genuine, who are not trying to hurt people and using and abusing their platforms. but there are so many that are. And so my thing is to bring this to light, man. I need people to come out. I need them to support me in this journey, this mission, this eye-opening awakening. I'm trying to awake people to let them see that stop putting these pulpit gangsters before God.
Yeah.
They putting them, they act as if there's somebody to worship, and they praise these people even much higher than they even do God.
Yeah, well, it's true, But you see, as I'm, thinking at the same time, reflecting, and just reasoning with you, right? What comes to my mind straight away that there is no accountability. There's no accountability, and it just shows how people are just being manipulated. Listen, man, it's really kind of so sad to hear what's happening, but it's so sad that these are the things what they're getting away with, And I played a clip earlier on, and what the brother was saying, does religion contribute to our mental health? And what the guy was saying, that yes, it does. He's not saying that there is no good in religion, because there is some good in religion you can use for your own personal gain and your purpose, and you can clean you up to a point and so forth. Yeah, right. But I tell you something, man. You know what's so crazy about this? I'm gonna show you something now, right? The same people them will say to you, well, listen, what we should do is pray even harder and pray even more.
Goodness.
People will say that, and this is what the guy was saying, that he had a situation with his own brother was going through some mental health challenges, right? And his mom said to his brother that you need to pray, but the son said, listen, Mom, I'm praying. I'm in pain. I'm praying. But you need to pray more harder, right? And that shows that's a sign of madness, because I'm not saying there's no power in praying, but you could pray to a point, but you have to take some logical measures, steps. It's like if I got knocked down by a bus or by a car and everything, right? Yes, you could pray and meditate to a point, but you got to take to the hospital or to be dealt with. You see, so, and this is the confusion, right, with the old thing about religion and so forth, and people actually say that we should pray over these matters, So I'm very confused. Jammers, you want to come in?
No, I just
yeah.
No, I'd just like to, I'm sorry to hear what happened to you. It's just a grace, that you had to go through this trauma. Is there been any assistance that you've been getting from any authorities, or to investigate or support what you've what you've encountered?
I have basically been getting assistance from the authorities, but the thing about it, even there have been so many people from that church, that environment. It's supposed to be a church. They call themselves a church, but in the name is called the House of Prayer. But they have been coming against me because I went to the authorities.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I've become one of the most hated men because I went to the authorities.
Another thing I want to ask, because I know you said that you've got evidence that's in numerous other churches have this. You're saying other churches do this as well.
Yes,
Have you got any evidence or whatever, or statistics roughly?
I don't have the any statistics offhand about some of these other churches, no more than just even the news. Hearing the news about even the Eddie Long scandal.
Yeah, Eddie Long. Yeah.
What's the sorry? What is the Eddie Long scandal for us who haven't heard of it?
When it was
Say that.
abuse some boys.
What is the Eddie Long scandal briefly?
Yeah, so basically, there was this big time bishop. He was involved or in charge of this mega church called New Birth.
Right.
And so these young boys basically came forth and said that he was basically molesting them.
Molesting them, yeah.
And so the thing that bothers me about, and see, they gave, or he came out before his congregation. This is the bishop, supposedly.
Yeah.
Because you're not a true bishop, because you first of all, you're supposed to be blameless. If you even if you desire the office of a bishop, you should be blameless. So, but the fact that he had a nerve to come out before his congregation and say to them that that's not him, and it's not true what those boys were saying about him. And he had a nerve to say that he's like David up against Goliath. He has 5 rocks, but he hasn't thrown one yet. And he said that he was going to fight those charges because they were untrue. And do you know, shortly after he made that statement about how he was going to fight as if he was this warrior for God, he went behind closed doors and made a large sum settlement with those boys.
That's interesting. I wasn't aware of that. That's interesting, Matt.
So
yes,
it's like
hold on. That's quite interesting.
Yes,
that's quite interesting. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah.
And do you and those now, all of those boys? You mean to tell me now? All of those members, thousands of members that he had, they were, instead of them coming to the aid and rescue of those boys to see how they can assist them, what kind of help do they need?
Whoa.
They were still over there praising Eddie Long.
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that, I've been following it, but I wasn't aware of that incident there. Okay, then that's interesting. That's more than interesting.
Oh man, I'm telling you, that shows you the state of so many of these blind so-called church people.
Let me ask a question, Matt, and it's a very important question I'm gonna ask you, right? Before Jammers come in. Did any of the other well-known pastors, bishop, I mean talking about people like T.D. Jakes. We're talking about people like he's passed now. He's passed now. They had T.D. Jakes, and yet some other well-known pastors. Did they had a say and like say, well, listen, this is something we should be done, or I just want to. Did they come and say anything?
To say something
in terms
against him?
Yeah, in terms of what's been happening, right? Did they come and support the boys them and say anything? I'm talking about well-known bishop people. Well, about T.D. Jakes and many other people out there.
Listen, T.D. Jakes, and so many more of these mega pastors, mega bishops, mega apostles.
Yeah.
In one way or another, they were actually supporting Eddie Long.
Yeah, I know a couple of them. Yes, yeah.
They were actually, and one in particular, which is really what bothered me. And this is, and he's a big time bishop in Atlanta. Dale Bronner.
Okay.
He was at his funeral talking about how great of a warrior Eddie Long was for God.
Mm.
He had a nerve to say, you know, I told Eddie Long that all of those darts that were thrown at him from his accusers, anything that doesn't break you only makes you stronger. And a warrior. He came out as a warrior. I'm saying, but what about the victims?
Word.
I mean, are you serious?
Mm.
So it's like they're not gonna come out, but or go out so far against people like Eddie Long, because many of them, in one way or another, they have their hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah, come with it. Absolutely right.
Yes,
absolutely right. Absolutely.
So
right.
that's the way that works. It's like one hand washes the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like you scratch my back,
and I'll
scratch yours.
Back. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so, and you know, I think there was like maybe one that I heard of at least, and I think he was a bishop. I think his name is Paul S. Morton, and I think he was one that verbally said some things against Eddie Long.
Okay.
And said that, you know, you need to tell the church something about your deeds. You know, but other than I haven't heard anybody else.
So I'd just like to ask you, what do you think creates such a protection racket where, you know, they're all covering up for each other and they're in denial of, you know, the crimes and the horror that they're committing? What do you think is it about this climate? What maintains
you heard
itself?
What I said, that because of this pastor, Arthur Allen, of the House of Prayer, he was a child molester himself.
Right.
The church that I was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
But so when this other guy molested about 15 babies, he went and justified and cloaked for the guy, hid him from the authorities and everything else. So why would you say something against one child molester when you're a child molester yourself?
Yeah. It seems like as well the whole setup in relation to like chastity, it doesn't work, because once again they put all the women in a nunnery and keep all the men together, and then they're taking in all the people who like the alcoholics, the down and outs, and putting them all into this environment where it's like it's creating this actual climate of molestation just by the way it's set up.
Absolutely. And you're talking this stuff, man. This stuff is. That's why even when it comes to you talking about why certain people don't say certain things. See, this is what bothers me about quote unquote religious people. Because it's like I just need somebody to worship in the flesh so that they can make me feel good about my deeds.
Yeah, it's serious, because another thing about the whole concept, you know, is that you can do the most outrageous crime and all you have to do is just pray for forgiveness and then you're okay.
You see, there you go. And that's not, if you want to get down to it, that's not what the Bible says.
Yeah.
That's not even, they're not even carrying out what the Bible says. There's no, let's just, oh, well, you know, let's pat the person on the back and we send them on and smile about it. What happened to righteous indignation? What happened to exhorting certain people? Admonishing certain people, letting them know about the error of their ways.
It's asking serious questions, really, because it seems like the crimes, as you're saying, is committed at the top level. You know, it's at the highest level that this is taking place. You know, and as you were saying, is that, you know, if the people at the top are doing it, then they're going to condone the people underneath them doing it, because then we're all in it together.
There you go. There you go. You may even be surprised the type of people and the levels of people that you're talking about. These are people of supposedly high esteem.
Yeah.
They're people, you know, on certain levels. But they are doing some of the most heinous things. And they are the ones, in many instances, come out, and instead of them helping the victims, they side with the perpetrators.
And another thing, then, if you're in a vehicle and the car always breaks down, then maybe it's time to leave. You have to question this vehicle. You know, maybe it's time to leave that vehicle alone.
Yes.
You know, what its original purpose was for. Now, what's happening now far outweighs whatever purpose it served in the first place, because the actual, it's like, you know, you want to be a taxi driver, but you every time you drive you have an accident and you kill the passengers. You know,
exactly.
You're no longer qualified to even be a taxi driver anymore.
Yes, absolutely.
You know?
It's just like, you know, when the Bible even speaks about this unjust steward. He said, you give an account of your stewardship.
And then if you claim to create a cure-all medicine, but everybody's dying from that medicine, it's time to terminate the medicine.
Oh, yes.
You know, so this vehicle now is totally it's like a bad house that's on the verge of collapse. It virtually needs to be, a new house needs to be built, or this house should be, the building should be banned from entering these premises unless you've had a proper investigation or it's been fumigated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And until we get to a place, we want to talk about how Jesus was this and Jesus was so forgiving. He was so passive.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Jesus turned over the table.
I took off some heads.
Wait a minute. I thought he was the one that drove them out of the temple.
Yeah.
Because of the madness they had going on.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Yeah, but he said he told that the lady who was caught in the act of adultery, anybody without guilt, he told those people, anybody without guilt cast the first stone. But he didn't leave it at that. He told her, go and sin no more, unless a greater thing come upon you. So, but they have it as if he justified. He was just so passive. He told those the ones that confronted him, you tired of mint, of cumin, and all these other things. But what about the greater matter? What happened to mercy and justice? What happened to justice?
But Matt, I just want to so what is your main purpose? I know you're showing it next week, and is next week Wednesday in Layton. We're gonna get some information.
Actually, the address, actual location has been updated, and it would be shown at the Courthouse Hotel, the cinema room, and it's 3335 through 335 through 337 Old Street, London.
Oh, in Old Street. Okay then.
Yeah. EC1V9LL.
Okay, that's perfect then.
And so that's the Courthouse Hotel on Old Street, London.
Okay then. So what is your plan, or what's the plan? Your vision, or your purpose in terms of sharing this movie? Because obviously you want to discuss it, but is it to get more people more aware? And just give me an idea. What's your main?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's to get. It's for. Listen. If we stand by and say nothing and do nothing, see, it's almost as if once you know to do better and you don't do it, it's wrong of you. You become guilty. You become wrong when you see an injustice. When you see victims being victimized, predators preying on the innocent, and you stand by, you say nothing, you do nothing, then you're just as guilty.
Just as guilty, yeah.
You actually, by silent consent, you're saying that it's okay for you to continue with your madness.
Yeah.
And so I want people of goodwill. I want people that has a heart for people that's willing to go against, step outside of your comfort zone and go against some of these pulpit gangsters. And so I believe, like you said, that they need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
So why is the church being so silent?
Silent, yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah.
They say that they're supposed to be truth fighters and they believe in truth.
That's true. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Well, then start in your own house.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
I thought judgment starts in the household of God.
God. That's right. That's
so no reason you trying to worry about everybody else and trying to walk around as if you're holier than thou. Start with start in the pulpit.
That's right. That's right.
So this is something that I want to bring awareness. I want people. I want them to. I don't want you to be comfortable. You don't need to be comfortable. And so this particular film is not a comfortable film. It's not. It's one of those ones that it shows you the real. It shows you just how corrupt and crooked and manipulative some of these gangsters in the pulpit are.
Yeah. But
so
I tell you something, Matt. I was watching the clip, and I have some stuff on YouTube. People talking about the pastors and ministers, and I tell you something, man. People need to come out and see this, because not only I tell you what's interesting about this, right? It's like not only over the cans of worms, like a flame, because you need to go away from here, have a discussion with your pastors, your ministers, and whoever, and say, listen, this is what's happening. And to me, it's either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. Simple as that. I'm not saying that people must go out and start a right or a fight or stuff, you know, but have a discussion. This is what's happening. I mean, come on, man. Minister of abusing babies and raping babies and so and so and so. And so you don't want to say nothing about it?
Oh man.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man. Listen, man. You. Oh man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Man, do you know? And you want to talk about people having mental health issues.
Yeah.
You know the damage some of these crooks are causing?
Yeah.
Man, that made me, I didn't even want to live, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill some people myself.
Yeah.
But you got to know, I mean, come on. No, man. No. And sometimes we don't feel certain ways until it hits home. Until something happens to us.
James, you want to say anything, James?
Yeah, I just want to put some light on it. It also relates to the Cain and Abel story, yeah? So you had Cain and you had Abel, you know, and Cain was jealous of Abel and killed Abel, yeah? If you say Cain and Abel fast, you get cannibal, yeah? To cannibalize something, it means you're against something, you know? And if you look at the word able, that's the able-bodied person. So basically, this is the key element of this. You've got souls in torture, and you've got souls who want to give reverence to their creator. So this is the key element. In ancient Kemet, we gave reverence to our creator. You know, we was in a place of abundance, you know, and we celebrated our being created by the creator. Another set of people were in scarcity, deprivation, and in torture, in torment. So they've taken our ancient wisdom and tried to apply it to themselves to get themselves out of their torment and torture and their trauma. But because they don't give credence to the originators of the practice, and they've done it themselves, they have no cure for their trauma in it. And now they're using the vehicle to hide, you know, basically to keep a soul in trauma under check. You need laws and you need a practice to stop your trauma from coming out and contaminating anything, your environment. You need to keep a law and you need to keep a practice. So this is what it is. This practice of our ancient wisdom is to try to keep their torment in under check. But because it's not dealing with their actual essence of what they have, it comes out in all of these malpractices. This is the key element, that they are souls in torture, and they're using this vehicle to try to stop themselves. That's why it's in opposite to what we do. You see, everything that they do is in opposite to what we do. As I was saying earlier, Catholic, holic means when you're addicted to something. Yeah, Cath comes from the Greek word down. You're addicted to being down. You know, so they're malpracticing this religion, and anybody who goes into it, they're going into a state of trauma. Because the practitioners are in trauma themselves. It's serious. What's actually going on here? You know, it's serious. That's why they say they're born in sin. You say they're born in sin. But if you say my Father in heaven, then your creator. If your Father's your creator, you can't be born in sin. You see, so there's a different interpretation of our wisdom that they're applying to themselves. You know, and when we drag ourselves into that vehicle, you know, we're going into an environment where they're actually, you know, practicing this trauma that they're doing in this environment that they've locked them. That's why they don't even want to even breed again, because they put their women away from them, because they feel they're that sinful that they've got to keep themselves away from even perpetuating their species. So that's another dynamic. Yeah, you know. But I really, you know, it's a brave. I really like the heart that you've done to come and put this out to us to see. Because could you give us the information again where we can see this this movie that you put together?
Yeah. So it's going to be on the April the 10th at 7:00 p.m. At the Courthouse Hotel. and the address is 335 through 337 Old Street, London.
Right.
EC1V 9LL. And again, that's April the 10th at 7 p.m. at the Courthouse Hotel. It's going to be in the cinema room. And it's 335 through 337 Old Street, London. EC1V 9LL. It's going to be something that definitely you wouldn't want to miss. You wouldn't want to miss. We're going to have a Q&A. It's going to be a full feature film screening. The movie is screening, the film screening. The title of the film is titled Pulpit Gangster. Mm-hmm. And that's PULPIT Gangster. You know, the admission on the door would be £15, and food would be included as well. So it would be we would have a live discussion, even a book signing too. It would be a small book signing as well.
Oh, so you've got a book out. You've got a book out as well.
Yes, the book is titled Pulpit Gangster.
Okay.
Okay, that's interesting.
And it could be found on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
It's titled Pulpit Gangster by Matthias Hardiman. I'm called Matt for short. So.
Are you on YouTube as well or Facebook as well?
Yes. Trailer. The trailer to the movie is you could pull up Pulpit Gangster.
Yeah,
right.
I see a bit of on trade on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, Pulpit Gangster trailer.
We're gonna play a clip of it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go to my website, which is pulpitgangster.com. And you'll see a list of details of the film, the movie, the trailer, where you can even view the movie if you like, if you want to view the entire film as well. Where you could, where the book is located or where it could be found is all on the website as well, pulpitgangster.com.
So, I just said you're a filmmaker. So, have you made other feature films or? I mean,
Actually, I'm actually working on 2 more now.
Okay then.
But yeah. So. This is the first one.
This is the first one. Okay.
Then. Yeah. That I basically it was a burning on the inside of me that I didn't want to go through the type of suffering and abuse that I went through, and me basically giving up on life because I didn't even know my purpose anymore. Mm. I lost my purpose. I didn't want to live anymore. And but I realized, and now I understand who God really is for myself. Because after losing faith, I thank God. I mean, he somehow brought me back and allowed me to see that this is a personal relationship. Mm-hmm. I don't have to look to some man who call themselves something special. I could have my own personal relationship with him.
Yeah.
And so, after going through that and being, restored, because God is spirit. God is love. So where God is, wherever love is, I see love as God.
God, yeah, I see that as well. I see that as well. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so God had to show me that I weren't looking to Him. I was looking to man. And when I found that man wasn't real, I said that he couldn't be real. Because if he was real, I would have never went through the type of abuse that I went through.
Yeah, definitely. Oh.
And I know that there are many other people.
Well,
man, listen, there are so many people out there that it's not just my story. There are so many that are hurting right now.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Yeah.
Who's willing to take the time out to even lend their ear to say, okay, I'm hearing you. You need a shoulder to cry on. Here, I'm here for you. I empathize, not just sympathize, but I empathize with you.
Yeah.
Because sympathy, to some degree, in my opinion, it comes and goes. But when you really empathize with the person, it's like, I've been there.
Yeah.
So how can I separate me? How can I separate the pain from me when the pain was a part of me?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why some people say, I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I feel you. Because in one way or another, you were me. You were me. So this is, man, I'm telling you, this is something that, you know, it should be more people. It should be more. If you really are for truth, you shouldn't have respect of person. You should be colorblind. You shouldn't say, well, you know, I believe in truth except when it comes to my bishop. Reverend Dixon, Reverend so-and-so, Pastor Wingfield.
So, I wonder if you can, again, give out the information again. And what I want to do is definitely want to speak with you, probably, if not later on, definitely tomorrow. Because we want to, I said before, want to get as many people to come out for next week, Wednesday.
I have not. I've been really this entire production. I've had to fund myself out of my own pocket. All of the actors, the actresses, the cast and crew, everybody. I funded. I did it myself. I haven't had anybody to come and say, well, hey, you know what? I want to sponsor, or I want to contribute or donate, or I want to just lend my support or my services, which is why I really appreciate you for saying to me that I'm willing to even allow you to come onto my platform and let me be your voice. And so I appreciate, Dougie, what you've done for me. And I mean that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you, my brother. And also there's Jammers here in the house as well, who I just told him about you earlier on, and he's very much moved by what's been done here, what's been said. So give out the information again.
Okay.
Please. And then we'll be definitely speaking and see how we can get things moving on another level.
Well, I really appreciate that, because I'm in need of hopefully I could even, you know, connect with some type of movie or cinema distributor, because this needs to be told worldwide. You know, it's not just an isolated incident. So again, my website is PULPITGANGSTER it's pulpitgangster.com. That's the website, and the actual location of the film screening. This is a full feature movie that will be shown on April the 10th at 7 p.m. at the Courthouse Hotel, in the cinema room. And the number address is 335 through 337 Old Street, London, EC1V9LL. That's April the 10th, 7 p.m. at the Courthouse Hotel on Old Street, London.
I just want to ask you, how long are you going to be in London for?
I'm planning to be here for at least about a month.
Oh, really? Oh, good. That's good. So we can make some proper links then.
Man, I'm telling you, that would for me that would be, it would be like a dream come true. I would feel like my suffering would not be in vain.
No, it's not. Definitely not. The next thing is, how long? Because I've seen a little bit of clip, and you seem like a real good filmmaker. Like, so have you always been doing films, or is it a talent you've had?
You know, believe it or not, I've always had a thing for. I used to do some acting, you know, and so after basically acting for so long, and you know, wanting to, you know, get into the industry,
right,
of filming and just entertainment. It's like much of that was sort of stolen from me, from that environment,
right.
And so it's like I couldn't really live my life a certain way, because that was this particular pastor, so-called pastor. He never wanted anybody to expand and to feel like they were able to live their lives without some type of dictator. And so, yeah, I once I broke away and got away from that environment, it became a passion of mine. And so to be able to deal in truth, because this is a true story. I love true stories. And so, like I said, I mean, many others, I'm sure they have stories that they would like to tell. And so, I don't know. That's just a part of me now. I want to be used a certain way.
We're definitely gonna have to link up with you, you know, to work on some projects. Then, you know, if that's the path you want to do, you know, definitely. You know?
Well, I definitely, man. I'm telling you, I mean, for me, you know, that's just a plus. It's a, you know, I could even, my email is Matt House. That's MATT.
Yeah.
House.
Yeah.
Productions.
Right.
With an S.
Okay.
At gmail.com.
Right. Okay.
That's
cool.
Matt House Productions
at
gmail.com.
Right.
That's in case someone even wanted to email me or whatever.
What I'm going to try and do now, I'm going to try and see if I can play an audio clip of your thing. You can talk us through it if it works. So, hold on the line.
Okay.
Right now we get the audio clip, exclusive.
You know, this is a bittersweet moment for me, family. Standing in my father's pulpit, I feel the love of God and the foundation my father built in this wonderful church is welcoming me.
What were you preaching? I was telling them that they should obey their parents and you.
Nothing to worry about.
And God.
I'm not raising you to be a false prophet, Matt.
Show me you understand what God wants for you.
They keep telling us to obey, obey, obey. We have to have our own minds and get out of here.
Well, let me tell you this. You better watch what you preach around here.
They're hurting us.
Please don't let them find us.
I know it's not all your fault. It's the children's fault as well. They wanted this to happen. So tell me, what's the problem?
All the accusations, scandals, pedophile rings.
I was getting wrong what you did to me.
But we sure do believe in love.
He's got our little girl.
Serious, that's an exclusive, serious, must to be seen film. Pulpit Gangster, MattHouseProductions.com. Can you talk us through a bit of that excerpt?
Yes.
How long did it take you to put the film together? You know, actually production wise.
You know, it actually. I started on this. It actually took. It took about a year.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It took about a year to even pull it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I'm talking about starting. I'm also the writer as well.
Wow.
Of this film, and I started from scratch because I found that there were certain people that were, and in particular, I don't know. Have you ever seen this movie titled War Room before?
No, I haven't personally seen it.
I haven't seen it. No.
Okay, yeah. So it's a very big film that was it was shot in America, but the actual producer of that film is a pastor.
Okay.
Okay.
But he when he found out that I was making this film, Pulpit Gangster, he tried to discourage me from making it.
Wow.
You know what his words were? You don't want to offend anybody.
Wow.
I said, are you kidding me? Are you serious? So when it comes to abuse, I'm supposed to not want to offend anybody?
Wow.
Come on, man.
So
that's I had to keep pushing. I had to keep going.
So that's what I want to ask you. How did you manage to even pull this off? You know, willpower. How did you manage to hold yourself together? You know, when you're bringing back the trauma, even to put it. I don't understand how you managed to even do that. How did
Sometimes I had to, even on set when we were shooting this film, as the executive producer that I am, I had to literally walk away from time to time on certain scenes. You know, because you know I also acted in the film myself too.
Okay.
I didn't act myself. I acted another character, but some scenes it touched me, man, and I can't tell you how many times I've cried even watching this film myself. So I had to walk away and allow even my the director, and I'm the co-director, but I had to walk away and allow him to just go ahead and take care of certain scenes.
Right.
Because it just, oh man, I'm telling you, it took for me. It was like me walking through a war zone. And everything that it's like all of the emotions, which you could, this film, it has emotions. It has a spirit in this film that makes you feel like, oh man, and it's like, I wanted the feelings, the emotions that I went through, and that the pain the abuse and everything else that these children and so many more went through, I wanted the people to feel it. And so it was hard. It was hard. I wouldn't lie to nobody. It was hard on me. But all I could do is just pray. I asked God to guide me and help me. Just help me right now. So many times on set, I was just shaking at my knees.
What reaction have you been getting so far of people who's viewed the film?
Oh man, they love it. They love it. Everybody so far, all of even the screenings that I've had thus far, they clap after the film was over.
Right. Wow.
I'm saying to myself, these people are clapping? I mean, you know, just the feeling that it gives me. I'm saying to myself, man. So for me, I feel like it was all worth it. So to be able to display and exhibit these emotions from someone that went through this type of pain, but others are able to appreciate it because they're able to relate things and pick out things that they can relate to in this film. And it's like, it's one of those films that touches everybody. If you're straight, it encourages you to continue to be straight. But if you're a crook, it speaks to you too and lets you know that you better watch yourself. So it tells, it covers, it's well-rounded. It's like it touches, everybody in the world needs to see this film. People would cry, man, so many people have been crying. Man, I'm telling you, just not long ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, we had another screening here in the UK.
Okay, then. Where was that?
People got up and they were crying. They couldn't, it was hard. It was hard. But they appreciated the fact that I had the guts to say something and to bring this to the forefront. So I'm telling you, man, this is I need support. I need you know, I'm looking for distribution. I'm looking for distributors. I'm looking for well-meaning people that means well to support me in this endeavor. I want to be that voice to help the voiceless. So that maybe I may be able to say something or do something that could prevent someone from being abused the way I was. And even if someone is currently being abused, I want them to be able to see that there is someone else that has already been through this, and that there is help. That you don't have to be in despair. There's help for you too. And that's why I always say, you know, let God guide you. I believe in Christ, but not the Christ that they say.
Right.
I don't even know the person that they're talking about. But the Christ that I believe in believes in justice. He believes in things being a certain way. He believes in morals. And I know he wouldn't be going along with some of this mess that some of these fake preachers are carrying out right now.
Well, absolutely. But you see, even if you look at the word Jesus, right? In those days, there was no J.
It was no J.
There was no J. So, for example, my name is Dougie, right?
Right.
If you're calling me John or Peter, I'm not gonna answer that because that's not my name. So when they said that there's power in the name of Jesus, right? You see the contradiction there. So what are they really talking about? So what I'm saying again, we need to question every single thing what they're doing. You know.
You I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But do you know what means more to me than just the literal name of something? Am I speaking of the right character?
Right character. All right. All right. All right.
Huh? See, listen. If you say to me,
yeah,
you call me Tim.
Yeah.
You call me Matitya.
Mm-hmm.
You say, well, your name is Matitya. It's Matitya who? It's Yeshua.
Yeshua. That's right. Come on.
But guess what? If I got the right character,
yes,
and I have the content right,
yes.
If you call a house, but somebody else say casa, you are we speaking of the same thing?
That's right. Come on.
I'm not going to get bogged down and beat all up and bent out of shape because you call me Matitya, you call me Tim. If you say this guy has a heart for the people and he's putting it all on the line where he's willing to take persecution. He's willing, and they say, well, who is that? You say, well, I'm talking about John. I'm talking about Tim. But as long as you're talking about my character, that's all that matters to me. See, I'm telling you. I see the discrepancy.
Of course.
I see the difference of opinions. I see the fact that some people call, some may say, well, his name is not God. Some may say, well, it's Yahweh. Some may say, well, but see, in a different language, it's Dios. I don't care. Listen, at the end of the day, what are we talking about here?
We're talking about the character, yeah.
Do we have the character correct?
Correct, that's right.
And as long as we have the character correct, I'm not going to get bent out of shape over semantics.
All right. All right.
You see, so I think if we could concentrate more and get more into the content and the character of a thing, more so than we are with the name of something. I think we would be much better off, and we would get further down the road because you wouldn't even be able to communicate with me if I keep telling you, well, I'm not going to say a word to you because you said Tim. But as long as I know your meaning, as long as you have the right person, I could care less about what you. That doesn't even mean that much to me. Because you got the right meaning. You got and all I would say is that's me. You say this movie producer who has a heart and he's pushing and he's trying to get this message out that these people are being hurt and these pastors are abusing their positions of authority. And you call me something else. All I need to know is that you have the right person. Because what's in the name? I mean, listen, your story, if your story is not bigger than your name, I don't know what to tell you.
It's true. Very true.
Because you're being shallow minded.
Yes.
My story is much bigger than me.
Yeah.
And so many people, they're so big on trying to build a name for themselves to the point where it's almost like they say you're so heavenly bound that you're no earthly good. No, what's in the name?
What's the name? Tell me, sir, just quickly, how long is it 90 minutes feature film? How long is it?
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
Oh, 2 hours.
Yeah,
So
it's like 2 hours, 14 minutes. But man, I'm telling you, it's one of those films that it starts, it's not long drawn out. And that's another thing. I like to get to the point.
Right.
And this film is one of those ones that starts out with your feet to the to the pedal to the metal, and then it just takes off. And it really may even feel like it was only 45 minutes to an hour of what you just watched.
Okay then. All right then. So listen, Matt, what we're gonna do now? James, anything you wanna add?
No, I'd just like to say keep up the good work, and I'll also get your details from Dougie as well to see where we can meet up and help to promote what you're doing. But just keep it going, and we really appreciate you taking the time out to come to England to push this movie to give us awareness to us as the community. So thank you.
Okay, then.
Man,
So Matt,
I appreciate that.
so give thanks, and then we'll be definitely speaking sometime tomorrow. Say between 12 and 2 tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Okay, my brother. Stay blessed. Yeah.
Thank you. You do the same.
Yes, my brother. Peace and love.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Okay.
All right.
So that was a beautiful brother Matt. Just giving some that's a serious information there, and we're looking what we're gonna do. We're definitely have a conversation with Matt tomorrow, and probably those who have certain contacts and those in the movie industry or the film industry, see if we can network with Matt and see how we could push this movie out, because this is something where we're going to encourage many people to come out, not to come out, also to push it out and so forth. So definitely do that. Okay then, so you're looking to the big one, the Jam Master Show, all the way.
Yeah, I'm out here, so until next Strength family, I'll be back again. I'll hand you over to the Dougie as the pilot. Thank you.
Welcome to Generation Next. I am Chikeri Thomas. The theme of today's segment is infertility and women's mental health. Joining me in studio today is counseling psychologist Mrs. Brenda Roach. Welcome, Brenda.
Thank you for having me.
Before we begin the discussion, let's perhaps set the tone by identifying to our viewers exactly what is infertility.
Well, basically, infertility is failure to conceive a child after having numerous attempts at unprotected sex.
Okay, so I know in the Caribbean there is a tendency to attribute infertility to women. Who experience infertility?
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because there is a view that infertility is mainly with women. However, men experience infertility, women experience infertility, and couples experience infertility. So it encompasses all of us. Really.
Okay, so it's not just females.
No.
Okay. But for today's segment, we'll be talking about women in particular experiencing infertility.
Okay.
Okay, so we understand that what is infertility. What are some of the causes of infertility? How does infertility occur?
Okay, so we're speaking about women. So if we look at women in today's society, age could be a factor.
Okay.
Because, you know, women these days are making sure they have their careers first before they plan a family. They want to make sure that they are comfortable where they're at.
Right.
Then there is fibroids. Now, African women especially are more susceptible to fibroids than any other ethnicity.
Okay.
So fibroids is another factor that can cause infertility. And those are little tumors that will grow in a woman's uterus.
Okay.
That can essentially either block the fallopian tubes or some aspect of the fertility process.
Okay, okay. Then
there is endometriosis.
I've heard about this.
Right. Now that is a concept that many people in the Caribbean are not really too familiar with. It's basically women who experience it that understand more about it, right?
Okay.
So this is a painful disorder in which the tissue lining of the uterus comes off. And it can, as similar to fibroids, it can block the fallopian tubes. It can cause very painful menstrual cycles for women. Yes.
Wow. And I've also heard about polycystic ovaries.
Yes.
Is that another cause for infertility?
Yes, that can be, because polycystic ovaries is really hormone levels. So when a woman has more male hormones within their system, then it can cause them to skip a menstrual cycle, which then makes it difficult to become pregnant.
To conceive. Wow. So there are definitely a lot of contributing factors for infertility. And, you know, in our Caribbean society, there is, you know, a sort of expectation that, you know, eventually a woman should progress to have kids. To raise kids. I can only imagine that it can be very painful for a woman who gets a diagnosis of infertility, emotionally that is. What are some of the psychological symptoms a woman may experience as a result of, you know, having a diagnosis of infertility?
Now that is very important, because I think, especially within the Caribbean, that we're not really sensitized to that issue, that it can have a psychological effect on a woman. So for instance, anger can be one of the psychological symptoms that a woman can experience. You know, every time she passes a pregnant woman on the road, that can trigger some anger in her. And it's not intentional. Yes. It's not intentional, but it is something that would happen. You know, it's normal. Feeling shame.
Why shame?
Shame because, as you said, in society, and I guess too in our culture, the way we were socialized. So we were socialized with women having defining roles within society. So growing up, we would have seen our parents, our mothers really, so they would have been mothers. They would have been in the kitchen preparing foods and stuff like that. You know, being the nurturers of the family. So then, for a woman not being able to reproduce herself, that can cause some shame on her. She can begin to feel shame.
And you know, you're talking about societal expectation, and I'm thinking shame in terms of also, you know, some of the activities persons may engage in. For example, a young couple who just got married, you know, society may induce shame just by the things they say in terms of, you know, we have this common thing. So when I'm getting a grandchild, when we can expect a child, and because of that, you know, and the feelings of, you know, feeling defective or unworthy, we may begin to feel shame, experience shame as well. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. That is correct. And then, of course, I mean, we can get back to the shame and stuff, but still with the symptoms, there's anxiety as well. So when every month a woman might see a menstrual cycle every month, and then that's a constant reminder, well, hey, I didn't.
No cigarette smoking in my room. Yeah. I still want Marley. Bless FM radio, play good.